All right. Awesome. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. Happy March 21st to everyone. I'd like to welcome my guest today, our guest students, Kaitlyn Adams. Some of you all have met her. She has been a makeup artist of ours on set. I was thinking about, how did I meet Kaitlyn? How did I meet Kaitlyn? I met Kaitlyn, and Kaitlyn, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the Gay Pride Festival? No, Gay Pride fashion show?
It was actually before that. It was a fashion show you were hosting. I wish I knew.
Uh-oh. Kaitlyn told me that she was having some technical difficulties. So she is going to be switching back and forth to her phone. Well, let's hope that this is a smooth ride. Let's see. Here we go. She's back on.
Sorry about that.
Well, that's fine. I told the students that you said you're gonna have your phone as your backup.
Yeah, yeah, because I guess my computer, I don't know what's going on, but we actually met prior to that. It was a show. I remember it was really extravagant. I think it was around December or November of 2020, maybe. And I know because I remember I met Denasia there. I actually have pictures of her. She had this really long braid, and it was African prints. I really wish I could remember the exact title, but it was a fashion show. And then we kept running into each other after that. and that's also okay. Well, clearly we're meant to be in each other's lives because we keep seeing.
Right. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, okay. I'm gonna have to think about that picture with Denasia and the African print.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Was it not the soiree? The soiree, was it the soiree that we had, and Bernard Holly was the I'll look for it as we're talking. Yeah, it might have been that. Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Well, Kaitlyn, welcome. Thank you for coming on as a guest.
Yeah.
So what we like to do here on Model Talk Tuesdays, one, we've created this platform because I don't want the students to just hear from me. Our students have a plethora of interests. Some of them actually want to become makeup artists. And for models, I feel like it's important for us to know the basics of modeling, of makeup, excuse me, because a makeup artist may not be there. We may need to go to casting calls and different things like that. So they are responsible to write a report, Kaitlyn.
Okay.
And so you're sideways right now. I don't know if that's going to throw.
Okay, I thought that helped. I thought me being
there you
mobile,
go. Yeah. Okay.
that would make it look like the way it was on my computer. Never mind.
Yes, I got you. I understand. Yep. Okay. So what we're going to do, Kaitlyn, is we're going to start from the beginning. So tell us where you're from, and then tell us like 5-year-old Kaitlyn.
Okay. I am from Louisiana, but I also feel like I can claim Atlanta. I've lived here for 17 years. We moved in 2005 after Katrina, so I really feel like I can claim both. We've always kept in touch, of course, with our Louisiana family and our side, and we go home all the time. But at the same time, I can say Atlanta is home for me. And 5-year-old Kaitlyn, it's so funny. I actually have a like sheet from like kindergarten, and they're like, oh, what do you want to be? And for some reason it says dentist. And I don't even remember ever wanting to be a dentist, but I always did pursue science. And when I first went back to Louisiana in college, I was pursuing science, so I always did that. I am currently a makeup artist, and it's funny the shifts in between the two.
So from dentistry to science to makeup. Okay, interesting. So when did the science happen, and what did that look like? What did you see for yourself? And then how did that switch over to makeup?
So a large part of the science is that my mother's a nurse. She's been a nurse longer than I've been living. And of course, my father was a teacher, but they've always taught us about, like, when it comes to the workforce, you want a practical job, or you want to, really focus on jobs that are crucial or will always be needed. And for a long time, I struggled to come to terms with not being in love with what I was kind of told my whole life that I should do. And it always made sense to me. It always was like, okay, well, that makes sense. Might as well find something that, helps people or will like make someone better. I always kept thinking about it in that type of mindset. So I went to school. Once I graduated high school, I went to Xavier University, Louisiana, and I was pursuing a degree in neuroscience, which is so funny to me now. And
Wait, first of all, I heard what neuroscience, but please explain it to me. So for us folks, what is neuroscience? And shout out to Africa, one of our top models. I see you in the chat.
Hey, I will say the best way to put it in frames for how I was studying it is it was essentially getting a psychology degree with a double minor in chemistry and biology. So it was like just this big combined degree. And I mean, I didn't really know where I wanted to go with it. I didn't know if I wanted to be more of a surgeon, or I was always fascinated with the brain. And when I was younger, I used to read Gifted Hands by Ben Carson. And like my parents would make us read it. And parents always taught us about like great Black minds and great Black leaders. And, before he kind of started getting a little crazy with politics, he was one of like the most brilliant neurosurgeons. And it was just like, okay, well, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I do know like this is something that interests me. So let's see how it goes. And that's really where my line of thinking was. But it was different once I got to college, of course.
Awesome. Well, for those of you that are tuned in, we're Kaitlyn Adams. We are with Kaitlyn Adams on Model Talk Tuesdays, and she's kind of giving us the beginnings. Miss Kaitlyn was on the road to being a neuroscientist, inspired by Ben Carson, you all. So you're in college, Xavier University, biology, chemistry major, 3 majors, all of that stuff. And then what happens?
So around this time, of course, well, I will say makeup has always been something I was taught to, how to groom yourself essentially and know how to present yourself for interviews, for job opportunities, for scholarship interviews. It was a lot of things like once I got to around that junior year of high school, I started to like explore it more in terms of like, okay, well, how can I make myself look more together? How can I make myself just look a little bit different? And I was a debutante in high school. So I was in a lot of programs and we would meet up every Sunday. And they had like, strict rule, not strict, but, they enforced and taught us how to present business casual, how to present. We took etiquette courses. Like we had to, groom ourselves. And my mother, of course, also instilled that in me. My sister did the same program. So I was kind of introduced to it at a young age of makeup is a key part of grooming yourself and presenting yourself to society, and it can help you be more confident. It can help you just come off as more professional. So around that time, I really had like, the basics down. Like I knew what I was doing. I knew how to present myself. I knew how to feel confident if I had to go in front of like someone important. And then HBO, I think, was coming out with Euphoria at the time. And that's when I started to see that really alternative style of makeup outside of what I had just been taught, that makeup is a tool for keeping yourself looking more professional and groomed and put together. I got to see, okay, makeup can be used as art. Makeup can be used as expression. You can do all these fancy, crazy styles, and it's fun. And so, like I mentioned, I was basically a psychology major with a double minor. So there's a lot of where I was really tired. I was really stressed out. I felt overwhelmed, and hanging out with my friends, doing their makeup, and just even when by myself, getting that time, it became one of my big forms of expression and kind of therapy in a way. It was just so like relaxing, and it was fun to release because I never considered myself an artistic person. I always considered myself science-based, logic-based. I grew up that. So that was my foundation. And so it was kind of like freeing, and it just taught me more about myself that I just feel like I didn't know even existed, basically.
OMG. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch this because OMG. Okay, because I just felt like a breakthrough had happened in your life that you didn't, a space that you didn't even know existed. But the question is how did you get there? Because I know that like there's a lot of people searching and looking, and you said something earlier, like you had felt you were on a path that wasn't, and I'm using my own words of how I interpret it, that wasn't authentic to you, but just seemed like the safe and right thing to do. And then you found this breakthrough. So what can you tell someone that's in that safe space, but is searching for that thing?
Mhm. I will say start small, but start. It can be intimidating to look up into a hobby, look up into a career. A lot of people have been like, oh, I want to shift my life. I want to do this. And it could just be like, well, where do I start? What do I do? And if I want to buy all these things, it's expensive and all that. Start small. Start, if it's makeup or if it's hair, start with just testing out different styles, testing out a different way to part your hair, to getting the basics of maybe a certain path you want to start on down. If it's knitting and you want to make clothes or you want to crochet, start with a pair of mittens. You don't have to jump to a whole line of clothes, necessarily designing a whole collection. And for me, it started with, okay, let's try colorful eyeshadow. Let's try a blue smoky eye instead of a black smoky eye. Let's try, hey, my friend said we're going out this weekend or we're hanging out, we're going to a dinner. Let's try glamming her up a little bit. And it doesn't have to be so it doesn't have to be so intimidating, but it also starts habits. It starts teaching you habits of how to correct, if you make a mistake in makeup, you make a mistake in hair, how do you fix that? How do you come back from that? It starts teaching you these methods and own habits, and it gets you familiar with yourself and with the skill you're trying to learn. So it's intimidating, of course, but start somewhere. Just get the ball rolling, because you can also figure out if this is really for you or if it's just something that maybe caught your interest. But once you getting into it and you're like, okay, never mind, I don't want to do this. That's cool. That's fine. But you got to start it at least. So that's the best advice I can give, is just give it a go in measurable ways that won't overwhelm you.
Mm-hmm. Now, I must say this. You were given tips on start small. You must have been practicing for a while, Kaitlyn, because I remember before I like really put you in the fold, I would watch you from afar. Kaitlyn, you all would have to do 10 faces in maybe 40 minutes, or how do you maintain your composure in
Mhm.
that space? And then I have a second question on how should models, before I forget, how would
Mhm.
you like models? What tips you can give us as models in the seat of a makeup artist? Yes. Mhm.
I will say the reason I feel like I can handle pretty much any situation is because, like I said, I started small. At one point in time, I used to do all my makeup for free. So for me, a large part of it, even if I'm not getting paid, even if it's creative work, a collaboration, the biggest thing for me is that I used to beg people to let me do their makeup. Now people want
Hey.
do their makeup. People want to pay me. I think just keeping that space of gratitude and not always like, don't get stuck in the past, but remember where you came from. Remember where the growth is. I have to check myself all the time when I'm like, oh man, I wish I was, booking more like photo shoots, or I wish I was doing so and so, or maybe more weddings. I also have to remember, I'm like, girl, you have people paying you to do this, and you have a full kit. You have brands talking to you. And even if it isn't, what you see on social media or the biggest person, or I'm not at the same level as so and so, I'm still like 2020 Kaitlyn will be so happy and proud of where 2023 Kaitlyn is. And so that's what I kind of do. And it basically, it makes any situation, of course you have standards, and of course you keep your professionalism in all situations, and you don't just allow anything, but it does make it easier to pivot and kind of deal with most, if it's a rough situation, if people canceled, if people are unorganized. It just is like, okay, you know what, I'm still grateful to be here. I'm grateful for if I even meet one person off of this job. I'm grateful if I even get to practice a new style I'm thinking about, a new product I wanted to try out in my kit, or I just wanted to, continue getting the basics down. It's always good to get the basics down. So even if it's simple makeup, sometimes on the runway we do simple makeup. Hey, you getting better is something that you always will need. Um, As for models, I will say the same thing of always be humble and grateful for who you're being presented to. And I know it can be tricky, but communicate. If something is uncomfortable, if something doesn't feel right, if you know you have a standard of how you look, or at least I know it's hard when you're first starting out to figure out how should I look and is this necessarily a good job. If you feel uncomfortable, voice it or find someone you can voice it to. I will always say that because I take great pride in making sure the model that's in my chair, the client, whoever it is, walks away confident. I think a large part of modeling is that you have to sell yourself, your image. You're selling your image. You're selling you want people to believe that you love whatever you're wearing, modeling, or showcasing. And it's a large part, the makeup and how you present and hair, it needs to be there. So if there's something wrong and you have the space to communicate and or have someone else you can go to, always communicate. And the next part is pretty much, just be malleable, be patient, understand, in your chair. Don't try to be on your phone too much or maybe like distracted. Focus on, the person in front of you, because helping us gets you out the chair quicker to accomplish whatever task you have. And I know it's always a lot going on at shows, at shoots. Being a model is very hectic. I don't envy you guys. I watch it and I'm always like, I'm happy I have my little controlled area over here, because I know it's a lot of pulling and pushing and go there, go there. But just be respectful to the person in your chair, be prepared for that. And I will say, find a place kind of like your standard model face where you know how you should look, just so that you can communicate, okay, this is a bit too much, this is too glam, and they directed us to do this. So keep in mind, always communicate with your set, communicate with whoever is in charge of your set, whoever told you what your image is supposed to be. Have a clear understanding so that way you can communicate with your team and make sure you are as confident as possible to do your job well.
Awesome. Wonderful. Hey, Gail, I see you in the chat. Jazz, I see you in the chat. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We're here with Kaitlyn Adams, makeup artist. So she is giving us tips. She had mentioned models. Don't be on the phone when you're getting your makeup done. That is rude. Okay. That's one thing a makeup artist doesn't want to deal with. Other things, if you don't like something about your face, there's a way to communicate that. Kaitlyn has said some good points. Know your face and know what, what a standard face looks like for you, so you can be comfortable with giving direction. But also, first and foremost, when you're on a set, there's usually an artistic direction. So I'm going to say, from an artistic direction standpoint, if you have an issue with your makeup and it's major, if it's something minor and you feel like you have a relationship, fine. But if you have an issue with your makeup, come to the artistic director and the artistic director will deal with it. Because we typically give the makeup artist direction on what we want. So if you have any issues, deal with the artistic director. If you're on a one-on-one situation, there's always a way, and you're not on set or there's no artistic direction, there's always a way to communicate with the makeup artist. So Kaitlyn, tell us about this look here.
Okay, so I'm very grateful. I'm a part of the Thread beauty community. We were doing like a 10-week type of posting schedule, and it was a competition. I did not win, but I'm very happy for the person who won. She's an amazing artist. So the theme was cold girl makeup, and I really wanted to embody something artistic, and the trend was kind of like, basically make yourself how you look, like pinched cheeks, flush face, but I wanted to have a more fun eye makeup. So I saw this not too long ago from an artist, Leo Shaparo, and I knew Thread gave me little gems, and we of course need to incorporate the brand's products. So I was like, this would be perfect for Thread. And I had this that's my favorite hat. This is my fuzzy hat, and it keeps me warm, and I love wearing it. So I was like, I'll throw it on for this look. And that's, how this came together. I knew I wanted my cheeks kind of flushed and orange and reds. So I was like, the hat will tie it in. So that's where that look came from. It was a lot of fun to do.
No, it's beautiful. And Kaitlyn, one thing about you all, I don't know, Kaitlyn could be in the building and I won't even know it, you all, because her hair will be different, her makeup will be different. Africa, right? Can you testify? And I love that about you. I love that creativity about you.
Yeah.
All right, tell us about this one.
So what's really cool is that model is Megan. We actually met at Sustainable Fashion Week when you brought me on to work that show. She was one of the models who wasn't your model, but she was one of the models at Sustainable Fashion Week. And I really loved her look. And at the time, I was trying to do more portfolio work. And so when I connected with a lot of the models from Sustainable Fashion Week, and we got to do a lot of shoots. I tried to really work with my community. Once I find people, especially working with your school, which is why I'm so grateful. And that's why I always make time and space to whatever jobs, because I feel like I benefit a lot. I got to shoot with Sanjuria, Sunny. Me and Africa just shot yesterday. And so I really try to go back to the people I'm meeting and forming bonds with and put them into new work and show them, okay, hey, like we can do things. I want you to go far. I want to support your career the way I feel supported by a lady named Pearl. So when I met Megan, it was pretty like loose. I told her I wanted her to be comfortable, and if she had some concepts, it's just for fun, for a portfolio. And so that was the look she chose. And we did it on that nice brown backdrop, tie in like the brown heels, and we kept it really clean with a bold red lip, just so that her beauty can shine through and we could, switch it up a little bit. But yeah, that's where that came from.
All right.
And there's Sunny.
Sunny.
So this was I don't know if these were at the same time. These were actually like back to back. So when I connected from a lot of the artists from Sustainable Fashion Week, I was like, immediately I want to be doing more portfolio work for myself. That's a big thing in this industry. Always be careful, always be smart about situations, and make sure you're not getting taken advantage of. But portfolio work is very important. It's when you meet up with other creatives, like a photographer, a makeup artist, hairstylist, getting a fully styled shoot is really great. And it's something I try to push for whenever I ask models of their time, because I think it's really valuable. And you should get comfortable with having a fully styled shoot. I really want to push models to the next level and show them professionalism. So we do like creative collabs, and it'll be all free work on both ends, but it's ultimately for the goal of building our portfolios up so that you can submit to magazines, agencies, or just social media, anything to make you a stronger model, and as well as for us. So that was Sunny. She picked out her outfit, which I thought was really cool. I wanted their personal style to come through. And I did her this makeup look that was kind of warm and bronzy to give her the effect of like she's in the tropical beach. She's having a good time of her life. She's nice and tan. So that's what we were going for here. And that was like one of my first shoots with her.
Mm-hmm.
That is Zoe. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's Zoe. Again, another model I met at Sustainable Fashion Week. We were just going for something. We released this during February, so it was for Black History Month. She's natural. We really wanted to play on her hair being a big part of it. Again, that kind of nude backdrop. So we just went with this nice makeup look that just emphasized her beauty and kept the focus on, again, elements of Black History Month, of like Black beauty, really pushing that forward. And that's what we wanted to showcase here.
Awesome.
Okay, so this is Sunny again. So I wanted to shoot with Sunny again because, like I said, I think this is like a year later, or like maybe 6 to 8 months from the last time we did that other shoot. So like I said, I'm really big on working with the people in my community. Me and Sunny clicked instantly when we actually met up for the Sustainable Fashion Week promo. Well, I think that's when I first met Sunny, and it was you and Sunny that did the makeup on that day. And I love all the girls, of course, and she and I are closer in age, so we talked outside of the shoot, and I really wanted to give her another opportunity to shoot with me. And so and it was also an all women team. I thought that would be really cool. I love working with fellow Black women, fellow women, and just uplifting us as creatives. This is still a pretty male dominated industry when it comes to photography. So I really like to give those opportunities out. So yeah, we went for something really bold because Sunny's top was like a bunch of different colors, orange, teals, greens. And we wanted something really fun on the eye because usually when we're working together through a lady named Pearl, is usually more natural, or we kind of do the signature red lip look. So I wanted to do something just completely different, just to show her range and versatility.
Awesome. So talking about working with brands, tell us about this.
So this was for Thread. It was a mock campaign we did. When I joined the Thread beauty community and was selected, they sent me basically like this giant box of products. And I really wanted to show off the versatility of beauty work. I have a lot of, I feel like, stylistic shoots on my page, and beauty work is one of the biggest industries for models to, tap into. Commercial work and beauty work, they are great routes to go. They pay well, and they also get to showcase you to a lot of different people. And you want to, like, whether it's just a brand, this brand is in Target, so you're not just being shown off to this brand, you're being shown off to anybody who goes into Target, so we just wanted to play around with the products, show a nice makeup look. The brand's kind of traditional color or trademark color is that kind of teal Tiffany bluish color. So I really wanted to focus and have that in there somehow. And yeah, they're all about self-love. They're a Black-owned brand from Melissa Butler. She also owns the Lip Bar. So I love to support Black businesses, woman-owned businesses. I really like to push, again, Black creatives forward, because I just love what we are able to do and accomplish. And that's what that was. The photographer, Oren, and the stylist, Kenny, and Dallas. This, again, I think was during Black History Month. So the whole team was Black. So of course, I was happy to encourage these creatives. And that's how we came up with this look.
Awesome. You all drop questions in the chat for Kaitlyn. We usually have about 30 minutes on this platform. So I'm just showing off Kaitlyn work. Jungle Fever, come through.
That's actually Dallas again from the previous photo. And that was the first time I think I worked with her. And the stylist, Kennedy, she did that one as well. So that's why the shift in between, whenever I work with people, especially repeat models, I try to do something different each time, because I want the goal of their portfolio, same as mine, to be like, we can do anything. We can be anywhere. We can do anything. And hire us because we can complete these looks. We can do commercial, we can do editorial, we can do high fashion. I really love to show those different aspects of us.
Mm-hmm. Now this right here, tell us. Yes.
So again, a group of creators that came together. I was not the lead MUA on this. We each took two models, but it was her creative vision. Basically, she was like, I want to have like an intergalactic tea party. And we just kind of went crazy with it. I like to do face paint every now and then, just to show that I can do something fun and different. And it's a nice way to kind of break up when I'm kind of doing a lot of the same looks or makeup for client work. It's a nice way to keep my job fresh and to keep my creativity flowing and to keep me interested and exciting about what I do. I never want to get burnt out because I really love this job. But everyone gets tired and work can be a lot sometimes and a lot of bookings. So this was just something fun, like a palette cleanser. And the stylist did an amazing job. Taylor Nicole and Sandy Avant Garbs on Instagram, and the photographer is Kaz on Instagram. It was so much fun to do. And just, again, letting your creativity fly. You can start small or you can start big like I did here. But starting small, it eventually got me to where I can do things like this and have a lot of fun with it. So I really love this shoot. I think it's beautiful. And yeah, that's kind of what the story is behind it.
It's amazing, Kaitlyn. And I just want to give you kudos. Students, one thing I want to nod at is every time Kaitlyn discusses a photo, she always gives credit to the other creatives that are involved. The photographer, the stylist. You all, when you're posting your photos, make sure that you give credit to everyone that's involved, because it takes a team effort. So how do you accomplish this? Is it like, how do you accomplish that?
So that's exactly why I credit my team. We did the hands, neck, and face, and then we relied on the styling and the photographer to make sure it looks seamless throughout. So we did colored tights because we didn't want to worry about face paint staining the clothes, and they'd be able to move freely without worrying about if they're messing up the body makeup. And then the photographer came in and edited everything else that maybe there's a spot we missed, maybe a bit of thigh was showing and from the stocking. And that's why your team is really important and who you're working with is really important depending upon each vision. So he's a very creative photographer. So I knew he would be able to take on and pick up where we fell short essentially, or where we had like a hurdle to jump over. So our biggest hurdle was the makeup can't mess up the clothes. And he was able to match that and realize, okay, I can edit it. Then you just guys just get the faces on and get the hands looking right, and I'll take over everything else. So that's how we were able to accomplish them looking like aliens and not looking like they just have face paint on.
Yes, amazing, Kaitlyn, amazing. Okay, let's talk about you. We're going to end with you. Tell us about this.
So like I said, I really love face paint. It's something that I don't get to do often in my work. And so I feel like every now and then when I really just want to express and just do something fun, I'll just do it on myself to save somebody else the headache. So I think this was like for Valentine's. I like to do kind of like monthly things, really specifically around Halloween and Valentine's, because those are just really fun times as a creator. There's a lot of people producing fun looks on social media and encouraging other people to try. And it's also kind of more of the seasons where it's like socially acceptable to be looking like this. So I actually saw a painting. I can't remember her exact name, but I know I have her tagged on Instagram. But I saw the painting and it was this paint, it was this, but on a canvas. And I was like, okay, I like to take art from a lot of different places and be like, how can I put this on my face? That's essentially what I asked myself. And so I was like, okay, I can do a full like pink look and then do the kind of water effect and layer it. So whenever I find art in life that I can translate into makeup, because that's what I feel like is my medium as an artist, I feel like an artist half the time, but I know when I do, I know I can express it through makeup. So stuff resonates with me, I try to find out how can I express it through makeup or a photo shoot or, contact somebody, maybe we can create something. So that's exactly what this was. It was me seeing this really cool art and wanting it to turn it into makeup. And that's a big thing I do, I feel like.
That's wonderful. Let's give it up for Kaitlyn and all her work. And this is just the beginning. Like she has so much, so much more. Okay, so yeah, I'm just getting some feedback. Gail, love her new lip against her pretty brown skin. Can we get her for our leadership conference? Look, I'm gonna ask her. I asked her on the side if she'll be our model instructor. Not model instructor, makeup instructor for the school. So they're already asking if you can do the leadership conference, because I love her Kaitlyn's creativity, and I want the school to move into some more high fashion spaces. And I feel like with your creativity, you can definitely help us. All right, so Kaitlyn, one thing I do want to talk about before we close out is confidence, because our school, our mission is to help shape the confidence of girls and women through modeling leadership and entrepreneurship. So what is confidence to you? How do you use it? And do you feel like confidence is important?
Confidence is extremely important, because I will say, even just with social media, putting myself out there it was completely unexpected for me. Like I said, I grew up science background. I was a nerdy kid. I wasn't really an artistic kid. I played an instrument, but that's like as far as it went. So when I created my Instagram, I didn't even tell my family at first, because I was like, I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. It's just for me anyways. I didn't even know if I wanted to make it public. It was just like, I want to try and I want to document it and I want to share it with my friends. And my family found out about it and they were like, oh, it's so good. And having that community really helped me a lot. My family's very supportive. My dad bought me my first ring light. My mom supports me.
Oh, wow.
And every photo of my work to my mom first. And did that good. You like, even if my client is happy, I'm like, Mom, what do you think? Should I have done this better? So they're such a big aspect of building. I feel very blessed to have people who believe in my work, know me enough to say like, oh no, you should have did that better. You should have did this better. So being able to take constructive criticism And confidence is essential because you could be the perfect artist, but hesitating, doubting yourself can cause you to mess up. And I've done it before where I was just like, oh, I just don't feel so good about it. And I remember I had this one look. I did not like it. And I was recreating from Pat McGrath actually. And I was just like, oh,
Okay.
anyways, but I was really sitting there like, I didn't feel confident in the look. And she commented on it. And it was like such a cool,
What?
like, yeah, she commented and was like major and all these emojis. And I was so happy because I was like, oh my God, like the Pat McGrath commented on my stuff. And putting myself out there and having that confidence has now turned me into I trust my skills, and that allows me to think faster and think like clearly, spending time going, well, should I do this? Should I do that? It helps my decisions come sounder. And that's important when you're doing 5 models backstage and someone smudges a lip, someone's pin exploded, eyelash and glue went the wrong way. How do you fix that? That repetition of getting comfortable with my work and then becoming confident that I can fix this mistake if this mistake is made saved me so many times. And to this day, it's stuff I use because it prevents me from sitting there fumbling around and looking unprofessional, looking like I don't know what to do. I don't know how this happened and what can I do? This now someone else is panicking like, okay, she can't fix it. So confidence is very important, and confidence doesn't have to be arrogant. Confidence doesn't have to be like, oh, you have too much of a big head. Don't let people talk down on you for, being proud of your work. I talk about my work, and I have recently gotten to a place where I feel like it's rare that I have a miss, but it's also because I started to trust myself and believe in that confidence. So I feel like it's crucial. If I didn't have the confidence or belief, I wouldn't have been able to be where I'm at all if I never would have put myself out there on Instagram. I found you guys, I think, contacted Jessica through Facebook when she first put it. If I never would have responded, if I never would have took those
You're
steps,
right. It
yeah.
is coming together. Yes. Okay. Yes. 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 Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Okay.
take leaps, I would never be able to do half of what I do. Reaching out to people to do photo shoots. It's scary because you're like, what if they say no? But it's like, okay, they say no, you'll find somebody else. It's okay. And just balancing like the rejection or just like not getting everything or not having the growth you with, not letting that stop you from enhancing your skills and believing in yourself and your passion. Once you stop basing kind of like, I'm good because other people say so versus I'm good because I see my work, I see the growth in my work, and I'm proud of it. That's what kind of taught me. I don't have all the followers in the world. I don't have the craziest amount of followers, even in Atlanta, but I have been able to work with brands. I've been able to work with people like a lady named Pearl. I find that like you're one of my biggest clients. I feel like one of my proudest clients because I've worked with you guys now for almost 3 years. And I was like, this is somebody like they're so valuable to me because I feel like y'all helped me grow a lot, helped me get faster doing faces, helped me when the situation happens, I can handle it. You're like one of the most high-paced environments I'm usually put in. And so I'm always so appreciative of whenever I get to work with you guys. So I'm like, I'm going to come out of this with a new skill or with some type of
Let's see
understanding.
what the pearls put me through this. Come out with a new skill. I found the fashion show that you were talking about. Let me see if I can share my screen. So is this the one we met at? Is it this one? No, because I know you were backstage doing this one.
Mm-hmm. That was my first show. And I was so confused by everybody because we were all
Africa.
Mm-hmm. So that was my first show. And this is when I met everybody and started to get comfortable. And I was so nervous. I didn't know anybody. And that's going. So I was like, I don't know who half of y'all are. But yes,
I wasn't trying to hear it because I was mad in my face. And I was looking over at you and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. Why didn't I get her? Now I remember because I was mad. Yeah. I was like, I'm the host. Mm-hmm. Why? Who was it? Jessica. I hope Jessica watching this because I was like, Jessica was like, but Miss Pop.
Yeah, it was just trying to get her covered.
Yeah, she was. She was.
That's what comes in. Several makeup artists didn't show up, and I was so upset with them because I'm like, this is other people's time that you're playing.
Yes.
I never, like I said, I'm very big on making sure y'all leave my chair confident, as well as because a lot of y'all are young women. And I want y'all to know that you don't have to be in a toxic or abusive environment to grow as a model. You shouldn't have to be put into bad situations. And that's why I always try to be, if I am one of your first makeup artists, I want to be a learning place for you that you can tell the people I have a standard, for how I work, and that standard should be met when you go on these sets, and it shouldn't be in those unsafe situations. And that's one of the biggest things that I like to work with you guys on, so that you have the confidence and skills to keep yourself smart, keep yourself safe, and walk away with confidence that you like, "Okay, I can do this, I can fix my makeup if it's messed up, I know if this person's reaching out to work with me, I know whether they're legitimate or not. I know if I work with them, whether they're having sanitary practices, all of those things. It's good for y'all to know,
Mhm.
because I believe in all of you going further. So
That's
that's
wonderful. I
Mhm,
think that's a great thing. Like when we're sitting down in chairs, look at that makeup kit. Because
mhm,
Kayla gonna tell us, she gonna give us the signs of, wait a minute, I don't know if you should be dealing with this makeup
mhm,
artist because they may be unsanitary. The brushes may be unsanitary. So thank you for that. Kaitlyn, you had mentioned earlier that you like to help models build their portfolios, and there's a lot of models watching. If there is anyone interested, what is the process? Do they send you their photos and you select whether or not you feel like their look is interesting enough? How would an interested model work with you?
I will say for me, reach out to me through my Instagram. It's Caked by Kate. If you follow Africa or Sunny, you can probably find me. I don't necessarily go off of, oh, do your pictures look good enough? I try to give you a full team. So I have a lot of different resources, stylists, hairstylists, photographers. I shoot with multiple people for the goal of kind of having a network and resources whenever I need it. So I really try to ask what's the goal of what you're doing is. If you're saying, oh, I want to do more beauty work and practice with my commercial like look, so I want really clean makeup. Okay, then I want to find you a very strong beauty photographer. And maybe if you want to do your hair yourself, or if you do need a makeup artist or a hairstylist, then I'll essentially create a team for you. If I can't get a team, I will step in myself and do it. Africa saw that yesterday. We couldn't get a hairstylist, so I did hair, and it went very well. So that's really how it goes, is pretty much. And like, of course, I try to be careful with anyone who is underage. Make sure you have your parents' permission, and or if you want to bring a guardian with you, that's completely okay. Most of the shoots I have done have been with the older models because of the fact that we have more ability to walk around. We don't have like school schedules to work around, things like that. But that does not mean I will not work with you, even if you are younger. I just want to make sure you have your parents' permission or your guardian's permission before you. So, just to be careful. But of course, I work with very safe and professional people. So it's ultimately like, okay, well, I want to do something really high fashion or really fun. Then I want to find you a stylist. I want to make sure they can get your sizes, measurements, and pull pieces for you. So that's really how it goes. It really goes with, if you fit something that I'm looking for personally, then I'll just reach out and say, okay, well, could you do this and so, and would you be comfortable doing so? Because that's how I did with Africa. We worked with a designer both of us had already been familiar with because she walked in the fashion show. So it turned out that it was perfect for her. Or you can do like I did with Sunny, where she styles herself. She brings her own clothes. We kind of give her a rough like idea of what we're shooting with, and then I base my look or whatever we're doing on the makeup around the style that you personally want to show. Mhm.
Awesome. Well, you all, I want to thank you for tuning in, Kaitlyn. Africa says Kaitlyn is so reliable, consistent, and communicative, and has excellent communication skills. How about that?
I know I struggle saying
Communicative.
like,
I know what you're saying, Africa. Yes.
thank you, Africa.
Yes. Okay, so Kaitlyn, not to put you on the spot, but let's see. Can you close us out with a pearl of wisdom? Something that you can leave with us, that we may have not mentioned during the talk.
Okay. Oh, may have not mentioned. I can touch back. Believe in yourself and believe in your community. It's so important for us to find community and believe in it. I think one of the best parts about Lady Jane Pearl is the family and community that you create over there from when you talk the people who support you, going back to when I remember you talked about the story of the shirts and wearing it to work when you were waitressing, and
Mhm.
the boxing family you have. I think that's such like I admire it so much whenever I work with you, never get to see sides of it. You have such a nice network of people that are genuine and there for you and support and believe in you. And I feel that that's something that is fostered at Lady Named Pearl. So I say connect with your fellow classmates, connect with your alumni, connect with the people you're going to these classes and courses for, because you never know, like you might see me and I might be at a photo shoot from Lady Named Pearl, and we might run into each other at a fashion show, and might be doing your makeup, or I might contact you about working with me. So find your community. I'm not just going to say network, because it doesn't have to be like I just want to tit for tat. Like, no, make genuine contact with people, because I've been able to support so many different ventures that the models are taking. I know Jacqueline, she does YouTube videos. I support them. I watch her content. I support Africa. We went up in the same show together. I've ended up in the same show with you with the Gay Pride. So it's like, I think it's big to find that community and keep it with you, because these are also going to become people who support you genuinely and love you. So believe in yourself, believe in your community. And I think that's really important.
Look, you all, I don't even know what to say. Drop mic. I don't know, you all. Hey, thank you, Kaitlyn. Look, drop mic, speechless. That's what I am. I'm speechless. So you all, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. We'll see you next week. Kaitlyn, hold on as I pull myself together. Let me get this YouTube thing